let's just kick off this now that we're relaxed, we're loose, and our bodies feel so good. Let's talk about that first excuse that we all make when it comes to self-care. It's time. Jenny, why don't you start things off? How do you carve out time for yourself? And I know I said this earlier, you are a wife and a mom and a business owner, so let's talk there. Like, how do you even find the time?
Hi, let's see. So what do I do to carve out time? It's all about scheduling your days. I am a wedding photographer, so I work weekends. So Saturday and Sunday I'm typically out there working events. And so I always tell myself every Monday, that's my day off. That's the day that I run errands or, just sit and read a book for a little while. So I think that it's hard to carve out time, but it's really important to do it and to schedule it in. I know that seems kind of like, boy, you're scheduling your me time, but if you don't, then you often forget and you're like, okay, fine, I'll use Monday as answering email day, and where actually you shouldn't be, and you should just have that day off. One of the things that I talked about with Brandi before is the bad things that can happen if you put off the taking care of yourself.
I think that's what self-care, I said this, sometimes it takes like a life-changing moment, right? We read these stories, oh, this person ignored this little bump that they had on their tongue and then it turned into cancer. I mean, those are the extremes, but why does it take us those kind of pivotal moments? And I understand that you have a story about kind of that time in your life when you decided self-care was important.
Yeah. So back in my 20s, I dealt with anxiety and panic attacks a lot. I ignored it. I said, oh, it's not a problem. I can totally stay on top of it. I can work through it myself. And one thing led to another. I got married, and then I went back to getting my MBA, and then I had my first baby. And, throughout all that time, I didn't reach out for help. I just said, oh, it's okay. I'll handle it. If somebody else needs me in my life right now, or something else needs my attention. And I never stopped and said, no, I'm going to prioritize myself and my mental health first. And gosh, I get a little emotional talking about this. But it really took one day. My husband looked at me and he was so terrified. He didn't know, whether to get help or it'd be like that I'd be okay. So, and at the time we had our first child, and I then realized at that moment it wasn't just me anymore. I was affecting my family, my husband, my child, and I said to myself, that's it. I remember clear as day that very moment, and December of 2013, and I said to myself, I have to stop everything, and I have to make myself a priority and my mental health a priority, and then I reached out for help, and that was the best thing I could have done for myself. And really, to this day, it was a life-changing moment for me. And really, I'm here to share this story, not because I want pity or because I want you guys to feel sorry for me. It really is because I want everybody to know that it's okay to talk about these things. And had I heard a story about somebody else going through what I, went through, I would have probably reached out for help a lot sooner and not have had to live with it for 8 years before actually doing something about it. So, yeah. Pass that along.
No. Thank you, Jenny, for sharing that. I think that definitely is a lesson to self-care, but it's also understanding that these small changes that we can do on a daily basis, whether it's activities or time to yourself, how big of an impact that they make on our mental, physical, and soulful health. And what I admire about Faith is that she absolutely makes time for that. And it's so funny because your profession is a stylist, and she's extremely organized, but she also is organized when it comes to her health and mind, body, and soul. And so I want to talk about how you schedule that for yourself and how you find time, because all of us are busy. Guys, you know, like, it doesn't matter what profession you have. Everyone is busy because we all have a professional and a personal life. But how do you carve out that time?
For me, I live and die by my calendar. I schedule every little aspect of my life. I know that sounds boring to most people. I'm not a spontaneous person, and I don't care that I'm not, but it's the only way that I can remember to be responsible for things that I've committed myself to, and for me to kind of just check myself. So it's like, did I schedule my workout for tomorrow morning? Did I carve out time to answer emails? Did I get back to Jenny's email for a shoot we're doing together? Like, I need to make sure that I'm reminded of these things on a daily basis, of things that I need to do, down to just getting my lash extensions refilled. It's like every little thing is in my calendar, color coordinated based on if it's work related, personal related, or, you know, home and taking care of things like that. It's just the only thing that I've found that works for me. I know it might not work for everybody, but time management and carving out time in my calendar for the littlest things for myself is definitely what works for me.
You know, part of this topic is slowing down and eliminating that busy badge of honor. And I think that's something important to visualize, because why do we feel like it's something we should be proud that we're so busy? Because every other culture, almost every other culture and other countries don't do that. I mean, they carve out time for family and for personal life. And I think it's time to stop wearing that badge, like, oh, I'm so busy and I'm hustling and I'm important and things that I'm doing, right? People do that, and it's like, for what? I keep saying mind, body, and soul, because self-care is not just taking care of, you know, your health. It's about taking care of your heart and what fulfills your soul. And so there's definitely a ton of different activities. I know for me, I said this earlier when I was talking about my intentions, but I have to see the ocean every day. I live in El Segundo with my husband and daughter, and we make time for the beach every single day. Even if I go out of my way to drive by the beach on my way to a meeting, I have to see the ocean. I have to see the water. And what I love about the ocean is that it's waves, right? And it's so beautiful that when you watch the ocean, it's rhythmic. And there's stillness. You see this beautiful wave, and then it's nice and still. And it's almost, you know, watching it and mimicking it in the way that I breathe and in the way that I respond to life, and just having that time to pray and to meditate. But what are some other activities? Because I feel like a lot of people that reached out to me before I said I was leading this workshop, they were asking me, well, what activities can I incorporate? Like, what is self-care? And I think some people, especially women, think, oh, is self-care making an appointment to get my nails done? And it can be, if that is a way that you are feeding your heart and your soul and your mind. But I think I want to talk about what are different activities or self-care things you can do. Do you want to take this, Jenny?
Oh, sure.
Share some.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I did, it started out as a hobby, is photography, and that channel, that creative. Oh my gosh, I'm like losing words. But that creative outlet was the thing that helped me a lot with my anxiety, and so and that hobby. Oh my gosh, I'm really like missing words today, but that hobby turned into a business. But day to day, I do like doing my studio bar classes. That allows me to shut down. I don't have my phone with me, so class exercises are definitely one of the things that I like to do.
For me, I love to travel. I feel like that's where I get inspired to do different things, just learning about different cultures and just kind of opening my mind to new experiences. And I feel like every time I come back from a vacation, I'm just more driven in work and in my personal life and with my friends. And I just find that that's like my number one go-to. I know like everyone can't travel, but even just going, like I went to Tahoe for the first time, and that was just like, I lived in California my whole life and I've never gone there before, and it was such a magical place for me and a new experience that I'll never forget. And that's what I love about that.
It's interesting because the definition of self-care is activities that fill your mind, body, and soul. And just quickly, some of the quality time that you guys can do to implement self-care, and then I know we're going to take some questions, is just listening to things that motivate you or inspire you, whether it's podcasts. We are going to save a little bit of time or after this to do an affirmation exercise. I love leaving notes all over my house for myself as a reminder. Whether it's prayer or meditation for you, body, as you mentioned, fueling your body, whether it's working out or hiking or fueling your body with healthy food, and then soul. I mean, quality time with friends can be self-care, listening to music and so forth. I know that we've had quite a bit of engagement on Facebook, so we're going to take some questions. I think Shannon got some for us, and then we'll take some from the audience as well. You want to hop in here? Yes. Okay.
All right, we got some good stuff. So Dave in Washington wants to know, how do you set boundaries for others who might not understand that you're not available to them at all times?
Yeah.
People need to stop feeling guilty about saying no. You really have to prioritize yourself. It's not a selfish thing, but you're spreading yourself too thin. You cannot be a yes person to everybody. So it's like, you've done X, Y, and Z this week, and a friend wants to meet for happy hour, and you're really like, I really can't. I have so many things to finish. Your friend's not going to feel guilty that you can't meet up with them, and you shouldn't feel guilty that you can't meet up with them either. You could schedule a later time, but never feel that you can't say no to somebody, and that's definitely non-negotiable for me.
Yeah, along the same lines, I too have way too many networking events to do or projects to do, and the thing is, if you say no to certain things, it allows you to say yes to other things like self-care, being, having time for yourself and your family. And I've learned that, through the years, that's the thing that we have to do, is be able to carve out time for those that are very important to us. So saying no to those other things allows us to say yes to others.
Right. Okay, another one is from Nicole in Colorado. When you start to feel overwhelmed, what are some immediate things you can do to talk yourself down?
I mean, the breathing exercise for sure is helpful. Jenny, did you want to add something?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so when I start feeling overwhelmed or anxious about something, I actually go through this grounding exercise. It's similar to what Brandi's breathing exercise is. So right away, I kind of to bring myself down, I kind of say, okay, my feet's on the ground. How is this ground supporting me? So if you guys, I'm not a therapist by any means. So let me just put that out there. But if you look up or, on Google or wherever, some grounding exercises, you can see, just the different types of sensory things that you can do to keep yourself more present as you're feeling overwhelmed.
Another exercise that is great is keeping a gratitude journal. I think it's so interesting how we get so caught up in our little world and forget that we are so small compared to the rest of the world. So having a gratitude journal to kind of put things in perspective, that's definitely a tool that I think everyone can do.
Awesome, thank you. We have a couple more questions from Facebook, but I also wanted to open it up to this crowd in case anyone has questions. Otherwise, I'll keep going from the Facebook stream. Anybody? All right. Okay, then I'm going to go to Sarah in Texas. Regarding the Busy Badge of Honor, which I think is part of the name of your panel, was there a time when you felt like you were proud to be busy? And can you talk about that?
I think that as a society, we've been trained to think that busy is good and that we should be proud of ourselves because we're busy. We have so many things going on. And of course, when my career, I'm staying busy in my career and I have tons of activities for my daughter and my husband and I have things to look forward to. It's great. But I think it also comes back to quality over quantity, the power of no, as Faith said, and really getting back to basics and to what activities actually are fulfilling you so that you can be a great person, a great employee, a great friend, a great spouse. All
right, let's go with one last question from Michelle in California. This is, I know this one sounds like it's for Brandi, but I think you guys could answer too. How do you avoid being busy when you have a new baby and a full career?
Oh, yeah. Wait, what's the question? I'm mommy brain. It goes down to priorities. And, you know, I was so nervous about how it would feel becoming a new mom and what my life would look like. And it's, you know, as a lot of parents will say, it's even better being a parent and you prioritize. But it truly is, for me, important to have a significant other and a partner that can help the workload of being a parent, because I would not be as rested and happy if it wasn't for my husband, Mr. Amazing, at Mr. Meals on Instagram, Mr. A Meals. Yeah, but Mr. A, if you guys don't know, you know, his nickname is Mr. A because he is the most amazing man besides my dad. And it really, you know, the only way I can fulfill myself is because I have a partner and friends that support that. And if we had more time, I really wanted to go into having that tribe and keeping people around you that support when you say no and are very encouraging of that. Because I think it's hard when everyone's like, no, we have to go to this party, we have to go to this, you have to do that because of your career. And sometimes it's important to reset, like the DJ goes, and stop and just settle into what is truly making you happy. The activity that we're going to do here in the Brandless pop-up space is something that I invite everyone at home to do as well. I know I mentioned this when I was talking, but just the power of affirmations. You know, I think if I asked everyone in the audience right now what is their favorite thing about them or what is their favorite word to describe themselves, it would take you guys a little bit of thinking. But if I asked you what is your favorite thing about your best friend or your significant other, or a word that comes to mind of someone that you care about, you would think of it like that. And I think that that's what I want to change the dialogue on when it comes to self-care, is that it is so hard for us, no matter who you are. This isn't about being a mom. It's about just being a person and always putting everyone else number one. So the activity is, when you have time, get to a space where you can just put your phone down and unplug and write some affirmations, positive statements about yourself. And I encourage you to place these where you will see them every single day to remind yourself who you are, what kind of person you want to be, and to stay in that positive space. And I know, do you guys have any other tips for self-care or affirmations? I know vision boards, we've done this before. I try to do a vision board at the beginning of the year or around my birthday, right? Yeah. It works. Yes.
Just setting like goals and intentions for yourself for the year, whether it be to slow down, whether it be, you know, I want to spend, you know, more time taking care of myself, that kind of stuff. But just be a bit more intentional.
Basically, we're giving you guys permission to be selfish, to put you first. I think, is that the end of our, so I'll hand this back to you, but I just want to say thank you to everyone here for taking the time out of your day to be here and be part of such a raw and real conversation about self-care. Thank you to everyone on Facebook for tuning in. We can continue the conversation. You can find all of us on social. And again, it's an honor to be here and to kick off the first pop-up for Brandless, so thank you.